Travis. I guess he apparently said it. So let's take a look at this. Let's get your thoughts.
I mean,
Is he right?
Eric Adams is still a Democrat-ish, right?
He does push.
You think he's masculine?
I think.
No, he's bald
Yeah,
for 63 years old. I was going to say Obama when they say.
I don't like what Abby just did there. Y'all may not have picked up. Maybe I'm being a little bit too sensitive, but I don't like what Abby just did there.
He's still a Democrat-ish, right?
He does push.
You think he's masculine?
I think.
No, he's bald
Yeah,
for 63 years old. I was going to say Obama when they said right away who's the most. Now, he's slim, but he's athletic. He plays ball.
But is he right that Republican, well, first of all, let me just show you the numbers, because actually the numbers maybe do suggest this. For young men under the age of 29, the swing from 2020 to 2024 in Trump's favor is pretty significant. 49 to 48, Trump to Harris. It's almost tied with young men. Trump did very well with young people relative to what he normally does. There's something going on here.
No, and I mean, this was why, Joe Rogan was so influential in this campaign. Joe Rogan has an audience mostly of young men. There was this whole big drama about.
Very quickly, we got to pat ourselves on the back. I don't understand how confused. This is how you know how out of touch these people are. How long have we been talking about on this show that the Democrats are losing, that we are not our parents' generation? How long have we been talking about it on this show that we are not our parents' generation? We're not going to fall victim to the same propaganda and the same "we shall overcome" with the Negro spirituals. We're not our parents' generation, but it seems like they are just now realizing this. I didn't need a study to show me that younger men think differently than older men. Like, I didn't need a study to show that. My mom talks about it all the time when it comes to, like, my dad and I. Like, it's different generations, so we see things in certain ways differently. Like, across the board, our generation sees things differently than their generation. But how do these professional journalists, or whatever they're called, or whatever, that talk about these things every day, that are into politics, how did they not see this coming? And it's because they're out of touch.
Something going on here.
No, and I mean, this was why, Joe Rogan was so influential in this campaign. Joe Rogan has an audience mostly of young men. There was this whole big drama about whether Kamala Harris was going to give an interview to him, wound up not doing it. I think is probably a mistake, although it probably didn't affect the outcome of the election. But I mean, I think, what that guy said was pretty dumb, but it is not, it is not true. It is true that Democrats have a problem, especially with young men. I mean, that is a real fact.
So then, to me, that, in a way, it validates what Clay Travis is talking about, because if you're trying to get young men, you're not going to get them on all policy points and all the. No, Joe Rogan knows karate, and sometimes he talk about drugs. That's good enough for me. Pete Hegseth was in.
And I don't like that comment, because what it does is, Joe Rogan does karate and he talks about drugs. So that's why young men are drawn to him. Okay, so when it comes to an RFK, or let me just address that. Let me not go somewhere else. Donald Trump does not do karate. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. I don't believe that Donald Trump's ever done, I believe he's never been a drinker. So why are young people drawn to him? These Democrats keep coming up with excuses. It's because y'all are completely lost and overly emotional. It's because our parents' generation of men, like it or not, y'all have been too emotional. You've been too emotionally triggered with politics when you're supposed to be logical with politics. That's the only way to win. It's not about Joe Rogan being into karate. It's not about, like, Charlie Kirk is not into karate. I don't think so. Charlie Kirk doesn't talk about drugs. A lot of these conservatives that are opposed to drugs, let's just be honest, aren't the Democrats the ones that are pushing weed in Florida? They voted for you. You could smoke weed on the street in New Jersey and New York. You can't do that in Florida. It's against the law. You can't do that in a lot of these conservative states. So they don't even realize what they're saying. They're trying to make every single excuse in the book as to why the Republicans are attracting a certain group of people and young men. And it's just because y'all have lost y'all minds in the things that you're pushing. So you'll say that Joe Rogan is attracting young men because he does karate and talks about drugs, but completely ignore the fact that, well, maybe it's because they don't think that they should be competing against women in sports. Maybe it's because they don't think that they should walk in the boys' bathroom in school and see tampons. Maybe it's because they don't think that they should be in school and in the public library and having books read to them by drag queens. Maybe it's because of some of those things. And they're actually willing to say it. It's insane. And maybe it's because CNN, all the men that y'all put on y'all show, the black men, a lot of y'all black men are, let's just be honest. A lot of the black men that I see on CNN, we've talked about it for a very long time. They seem to be very emasculated and very feminine. It just is what it is. Metrosexual at best. I'm not saying anything that we haven't been saying for the last year and a half. But they're so confused. You keep putting out men that are looking emasculated and wondering why young men are not attracted to them.
Germany this week doing squats with like 220 on the bar outside for no reason. About drugs. And all the, no, Joe Rogan knows karate and sometimes he talk about drugs. That's good enough for me. Pete Hegseth was in Germany this week doing squats with like 220 on the bar outside for no reason. That's what the Democrat. I'm being silly, but
and you know what?
serious.
One of the other points that Clay Travis.
This is why RFK Jr. Look at, I just watched an RFK Jr. Video where RFK Jr. with the shirt off and the jeans benching. He's healthy. That's what men want. Matter of fact, and what's so funny is, over the last, since all this wokeness with the Democratic Party, this used to be what men have aspired to be like from the beginning of time. Strong, athletic. Like, these are the things that, like, this is what men were attracted to. Y'all just tried to push us in a different direction and make us call it toxic masculinity, call it all these other things, and try to feminize us. You tried to emasculate us. You did emasculate a lot of us by triggering us with these emotional talking points, these emotional things, and getting us to ignore our purpose, in my opinion, as just men. So when he says Pete Hegseth is working out for no reason, it's not really for no reason. It's because that's what men should do. You should be your strongest, because you're supposed to be looked at as a protector and a provider. That's like saying somebody's going to work for no reason. They're going to their job. When you woke up and went to your job this morning, did you do it for no reason? No, you did it so you'd be able to make money and provide for yourself and maybe your family as well. So I know that a lot of people aren't used to just going to the gym just because it's the healthy thing to do, but that's what we should be doing. And because we've embraced so many other things, that's why we got the obesity problem that we got in this country. All these men are embarrassing.
Travis made, and I think this is true. We saw this in real time.
Hold on, let me catch up with the comments. My fault. Let me catch up with the comments. Hold on. And Uncompetitive wrote, Joe Rogan didn't make that much of a difference. The Theo Von interview humanized Trump. I actually didn't even see the Theo Von one, but I heard that the Theo Von one with Trump was very good. Trump did WWE. That's a fact. I remember that. Young people are drawn to honesty. I agree, Maya. Battle of the Billionaires. Joe Rogan and Trump feel honest, whether you like them or not. I agree. Rogan is no kingmaker. Rogan was timid to get political. That's a fact as well. He is a liberal fence sitter, and had he not had either candidate on, Trump would have still won because of Theo Von. That's actually something to let's remember. Joe Rogan was, I believe, a Bernie Sanders Democrat. This is how far the Democratic Party have gone, and they don't even they've pushed so many people away because they look at the things that they're pushing. It's insane, the things that they're standing on. Matter of fact, credit to them, because as politicians who are salespeople, they've still been able to sell their product to a whole lot of Americans, even though their product is completely insane, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, though. Vons wrote, marijuana laws was a good thing because the conservatives were trying to lock everyone up, but yeah, Democrats are confused sexually. LOL. All right, let's keep going. I wasn't expecting that.
When Trump had the assassination attempt in Butler, that image of him raising his fist and saying, fight, 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 was like a shot of testosterone in the arms of a lot of men. Mark Zuckerberg was like, oh my God, he's so cool.
And
Like,
Yeah, and when you put him next to Joe Biden, who's shuffling along, like, are you surprised that people would see this image and be drawn to it after you get used to Joe Biden?
And now look at where we are politically with some of these very people really turning politically toward Trump.
Those numbers that you
Competitive,
just read,
I agree.
It's been happening for 10 years. This has been happening slowly but surely over time. I think that pollster in that clip earlier had said 2 out of 6 moderate men voted for Trump. It was the majority of moderate men voted for Trump. Even over 20% of liberal men voted for Trump. There has been what is seen.
Please make sure y'all like. Please make sure y'all like.
As I don't want to say a war on masculinity, but there has been this trend in the Democratic Party, or it's at least felt that the left is becoming more and more hostile to the things that are typically men. And you've seen
Common sense.
John Fetterman talk about this idea of like patronizing, calling them bros, or that ad that looked like a spoof at the end of the race of like real men do this. It's like, have you ever talked to a dude in your life? So in James Carville saying, we need to have less like yappy voices and more men talking. And there are many men in the Democratic Party, Westmore, others.
Democratic messaging is too feminine. But Carrie, what do you think is the
Look at CNN. Look at MSNBC. Who are the black men that are being? Look at Roland Martin. Roland Martin is not somebody that I look at and just say, yeah, seems like a masculine guy. Maybe. I'm just saying looks wise. Al Sharpton is not somebody that I look at and I say, yeah, seems masculine. Van Jones is not somebody that, but look at the people that have the women who have these shows on these Democratic platforms, mainstream news outlets. The women in the Democratic Party, along with the people on the mainstream news outlets, are more masculine than the men. Why are we acting like this? This is why I get so confused as to why older generations of men continue to support the Democratic Party. Look at what they're pushing. Look at what they've been pushing for a very long time. All they've been focused on is empowering women at the expense of men. Look at the things that get celebrated. I know somebody that should I say this? Should I say this? Should I say this? All right, let me say it in this way. Do you know how easy it is to raise money? If your business or nonprofit, whatever, relies on funding, how easy it is to raise men if you have a feminine or emasculated as a man. If you have an emasculated approach where you're just praising the strength and of women and they can do no wrong, very easy to raise money. Now, if you pivot in a different direction, things change a little bit. I may not be making the point clear, but I don't think making the point is worth what may come from making. Let's continue.
Masculinity that they are attracted to in Trump.
I'm laughing because no disrespect to you lovely men on this panel.
We do have
but you men are something. You men are something. And I can see the appeal of Donald Trump being a very strong masculine man, and I can see him winning over men because I do agree the Democratic Party for all intent and purpose felt like a place for the others, and they tried to take on every issue that the Republicans didn't want. If you want to talk about trans, come here. If you want to talk about LGBTQIA, come here. If you want to talk about men and women, in sports, come here. There were all of these things that I felt men wanted to say felt emasculating. It felt like, I'm not with that. I don't believe in that. And I'm going to go over here because they're saying what I'm thinking.
And the abortion issue played a role in that. I mean, I think they
And I
did
think
a political calculation.
And I think no one cared
that
about
was gonna
abortion.
be the big thing.
Everything she's saying, I'm gonna be totally honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Carrie Champion. Just not the biggest fan. Just letting y'all know. Beautiful, but I'm just not the biggest fan. Yeah. She came over from the sports world. She's gotten into the politics now. A lot of her stances, I just think are, I don't know. They just rub me the wrong way. I can't think of anything specific right now, but there's been a lot of back and forth between her and Scott. Whatever. I agree with what she's saying. And I want to go back a couple seconds so we can hear this fully what she's getting ready to say.
I don't believe in that. And I'm going to go over here because they're saying what I'm thinking.
And the abortion issue played a role in that. I mean, I think they did a political calculation.
And I think no one cared
that
about
was gonna
abortion.
be the big thing.
I think no one cared about it. I think everyone thought that was an issue, and when it was all said and done at the end of the day, I'm not saying I don't care about abortion, but what I'm saying is when Kamala made that one of her huge talking points, when Michelle campaigned for her, that was a huge talking point. And then in my mind, I'm all like, well, what happened to these people? I knew that people would be upset about that, and it felt as if it didn't matter, although it does. It felt as if it didn't matter because the conversation about manly men, as we just saw that young man say on the panel, what is his name again?
Clay Travis.
Yeah, I knew that.
Travis.
Yeah.
NBC News has this report. Representative Ayanna Pressley will reintroduce H.R. 40.
All right, that's the old video. We already saw that one. Let me catch up with these comments. Bernie revealed how much he was in the pocket of Big Pharma in the RFK Jr. confirmation hearings. That's a fact. RFK Jr. called him out. I'm not a Bernie guy. I'm not a Bernie guy. Queez wrote, my man got shot. They tried to take him out. Facts. I don't know. It's like you hate Trump so much. With Trump, I don't know how I would have handled it. I doubt somebody shoot me. I'm getting out of there. Somebody shoot at me. I get hit in the ear. Trump stood on it. Yeah, hold up. Wait. Fight. Come on now. Y'all didn't like that? You see, Queez wrote, you see how 50 Cent act. That's a fact, yo. 50 Cent, that's the 48 laws of power, man. Yo, 50 Cent lives his life based on this book, in my opinion. And that's why he did a book with the co-author, or he co-authored a book with the Robert Greene, who wrote that book. They write, ain't no muscle in there. Yeah, I'm with you, Vons. All right, let's move on. We actually didn't even talk about RFK yet. All right, so I want to talk about this point before we have to wrap up. I don't know how long I'll stay on. Y'all know I'll stay on. But I want to show a couple of different videos on. I wanted to show. Hold on, give me a second. Where do I want to go with this? I wanted to show that video. Let me show this video. All right, boom. I'm going to show the video where I was telling you guys about that. Hold on. All right. With the pastor. I wanted to show y'all a couple videos on this pastor. But do I even want to go that route? We'll hold off on that. My fault. Y'all saw my brain working in real time. Let's actually go to